walking through a ghost town. Y'all ain't playing my sounds. Don't tell me to calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. Only time I go backwards is when I wanna moonwalk. Don't test me, my mood's wrong. Don't test me, my mood's wrong. We are who we say that we are. Yeah, we're lost in the stars, and it's all from the start. Never running no pace, never on the right page, but we still read that book, and we still run that race. Ay, Mississippi Racer riding out, no shortcuts, no time for that. Mississippi Racer riding out, till the wheels fall off, I'm driving that. Mississippi Racer riding out, we'll stop burning, strike the match. Mississippi Racer riding out, red light, green light, red light, good night. Ay, red light, green light, red light, good night. 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 Time to chill, don't sweat it.
What is going on? I gotta fix this. What is going on? Welcome back to Sideline to Sideline. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzak. And in the upper left corner, I got the Prince of Production, chomping at the bit from Integrity Sports Network, Kyle Edwards. How you feeling, Kyle? It's been a while since we've been on a show together.
It has. It's been a few months or so. But yeah, I mean, football season's back. I'm excited. Get to see some Drake May tonight. He's gonna play against the Panthers. I gotta see him in action. I heard from like training camp he's been pretty good, but gotta see it myself. But I'm glad to be here.
In the upper right corner, I got Mr. He's not guarding the 2. He's guarding the 3. He's Mr. Guardy 3. What's up, my friend?
Yeah, not much. I'm looking forward to Saturday. Apparently, Jordan Love's going to play some preseason, so I'm looking forward to how that goes. I'm doing great.
And then in the bottom left corner, I got Mr. Taking It Deep, Mr. Birds Deep, THEEGODFREY, and the guy that gets 2 RBIs when you need him to in your softball lineup, Taking It Deep with D. Godfrey.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Football is getting closer and closer to regular season, so you get to see 2 of the worst teams play preseason tonight. So I don't know. Are we excited? Sorry about that, Kyle.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
You guys are hurting right now, bad.
We'll be better than people think, I believe.
The Patriots right now are like leprosies to the fantasy football world. They're like, do you want any shares of Patriots? They're like, no.
Listen, Kyle, you're allowed to defend yourself. You don't have to take this.
No, I mean, look, I get it. When it comes to fantasy sports, yeah, nobody's going to look at any of the guys there. I will say there might be some sleepers. Baker and Polk, I think they could be pretty good. I think Ramondre Stevenson, I feel like the defense could be pretty good as well. But I get it. Drake May doesn't do anything for you. Jacoby Brissett doesn't do anything. So nobody's going to look at my team seriously. But it's all right.
How about Gerard Mayo trying to act like Belichick before he's even won a game? Like he's doing those flexes at the press conference. He's having some Belichickisms going on.
Explain. I don't know what you mean.
He's more engaging than Belichick is. He's just trying to bring a different aura to New England. Like he's all about, we have a collective of guys who have their job to do. I let them do their thing because they're supposed to be good at that job where, Belichick likes to oversee everything and kind of control everything. Mayo's like, I'm the head coach. I got you as the offensive coordinator. You handle the offense. That is literally your job. I think it's refreshing to see. But
speaking of engaged, how about Bill Belichick getting engaged to his 25-year-old girlfriend? Good for my man.
I mean, hey. And he's going to be, doing shows and stuff. Like he's having a great post NFL career.
Ryan from the Guys Huddle dropped in. He said the Pats dropped the ball on Ayuk. I don't think they dropped the ball on Ayuk.
I don't think so either.
Pay him. They're like, well, listen, we're gonna give you $10 million more, and they're just like, they don't want that. Like he doesn't want to play there. And I don't blame him, right? I wouldn't want to go to a place that has a rookie head coach that's not an offensive minded head coach with a rookie quarterback who they're already talking about, like, hey, should we start the 6th rounder over him? Are we starting Jacoby Brissett? Like, I wouldn't want to go there either. The stability there is not where I'd want to go as a wide receiver. But, like, I don't think the Patriots dropped the ball there. I think the Patriots tried to get a number 1 receiver for a quarterback on a rookie contract to help him out. And Brandon Ayuk was like, yeah, I'd rather a better situation. I don't blame either one of those participants for that. Now, what I do think is a little wild is that Brandon Ayuk, and we're going to talk about this shortly, but that Brandon Ayuk is, and I don't know what lists these people come out with, or I don't get it. Like, you Google top 10 wide receivers in the NFL, and there's Brandon Ayuk shown at number 8, and I don't know what I'm missing. I don't know what I'm missing. Do you think he's a top 10 wide receiver, Kyle? I didn't get your opinion on this.
I mean, look, obviously for a team like New England that doesn't have a number one, Brandon Ayuk obviously would go there and become the number one. If I had to sit down and look at wide receivers, I'd probably have them outside of the top 10. But I know a lot of people value him because of, what he did in San Francisco. To a lot of people, there's probably a few players in San Francisco who might be a little overvalued, and Ayuk could be one of those. Like you said, I mean, I know you said we're going to talk about a little shortly, but it's like I understood New England's position going after him. And like you said, I understand Brandon Ayuk not wanting to go there. Like, I'm not salty either way. The Patriots had to go above and beyond because that's the price when you're not a good team right now.
Do you not think it's wild, though, that a team has to overpay Brandon Ayuk? Like, the 49ers, like, second-round draft pick. You're out of your damn mind if you want a second-round draft pick to have to overpay a wide receiver that's not worth the amount of money he's getting. Like, we did this last night on Wire to Wire. Last week we did a Jordan Love or. This week I want to do a Brandon Ayuk or. Just for fun. We did this last night on Wire to Wire. But, like, all right, we can all agree. Like, all four of us will all collectively agree he's not in the same ballpark as the top 7, right? And the top 7 are as follows: Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, obviously Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown. He's not in the same ballpark. I know I'm missing one. Who am I missing? Big one. I'm missing a big one.
CeeDee Lamb. I don't know who this Steve Lamb. Oh, I thought you said Steve Lamb.
I said CeeDee Lamb.
I was like, who's this Stevie guy?
But I'm probably missing a big one. But, like, he's not in the same ballpark as those guys, right? We can all agree there collectively. So now it becomes fun. I didn't say Jamar Chase. I thought I said Jamar Chase.
You did.
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown. There's a 7th one. I know I'm missing. Sorry. Those 6, no doubt about it, right? No argument. So then it became fun. Would you rather have Brandon Ayuk or his teammate, Deebo Samuel?
Deebo.
I would take Deebo. I'm on Deebo.
I would take Deebo.
Deebo's versatility, yeah.
Brandon Ayuk or Garrett Wilson?
No, Garrett Wilson.
I know the one I forgot. Amon-Ra. There's no doubt about it. Amon-Ra is better than him. Okay, so Amon-Ra, St. Brown. Garrett Wilson, we all agree there too?
Can you just auto yes me through the first 25 and then we can have a discussion after that? Because I like it's not even close. I mean, continue though. I'm just like
Jalen Waddle.
No, Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I'll take Waddle.
I'll take Waddle also. Smitty. Devontae Smith.
Some people will argue with that, but I'm going Devontae for sure.
I'm going Devontae also.
I think he's a better route runner by far than Ayuk. I mean, I don't know what you're watching if you think otherwise, but
I'll say I'd probably go Devontae.
Yeah, Devontae.
Stephon Diggs.
Diggs.
It's close, but I'm gonna go Diggs.
I think it's very close. I think Stephon Diggs fell off a cliff. I'll probably go Brandon Ayuk there. All right, DK Metcalf.
DK.
I'm taking DK.
Yeah.
No arguments there, right?
No.
So we're like 13 receivers in now.
There's more.
Okay, DJ Moore. Speaking of Moore.
I'm taking DJ Moore.
I'm taking DJ Moore also.
Yep.
Yeah.
And his teammate.
I'll take Keenan Allen for 1 year over him, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, people act like Keenan Allen is dust. He had his best year last year. I mean, I don't see decline in him, and he was on a horrible team.
Nuke. For 1 year, you want DeAndre Hopkins or do you want Brandon Ayuk? I'll take Nuke. Nuke's hurt, though.
Hopkins can still get it done. I'll take Hopkins.
I'm going to go Hopkins.
I don't think that Brandon Ayuk is that good. And, maybe I'm on a different planet, but I put him in the same category I put T. Higgins. Mid-grade, 15 to 25 guy. Like, I'm not like, how crazy would I be if I said, I don't know, next 3 years I might want Christian Watson? Is that nuts? Is that crazy?
I don't think it's crazy. If Christian Watson can stay healthy, he's got game-wrecking speed and very good size. So,
what about for this year? I want Mike Evans. Is that nuts to say? Guy's a walking 1,000 yards, 10 touchdown guy. Is that crazy?
No.
Yeah.
I now I might be getting off a deep end here, but like if I'm just looking at just pure skill, I might want Zay Flowers. I don't think Brandon Ayuk is that.
Can I swap out the quarterback?
Sure, yeah, no. Any situation you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zay Flowers would do better in San Francisco than he'll do in Baltimore if we're talking about that. I mean, you know, with I just you're going to get more target volume, but you know, I don't. I'm trying to look this up right now. Isn't there a target efficiency number out there for receivers?
Yes.
I'm trying to find out where Ayuk ranks because he had 105 targets, 75 catches.
I think he had 100. I thought he had over 100 catches last year. Maybe I'm wrong. We have 1,200 or 1,400 yards.
1,300 yards, 75 catches, 105 targets.
Okay. I just maybe I don't know. I just think I thought that I was overly hating on Brandon Ayuk, but like you list top 10 receivers in the NFL, he's on every friggin' list, and I just don't get it.
I
One
think
good year in Kyle Shanahan's system. He's not been good before this.
I think you can't have it both ways. He wants more money, but he wants to be on the best team possible, right? You know, you want more money. Obviously, if he's going to another team, that other team besides the Niners are offering him more money than the Niners are offering him, right? I mean, otherwise he wouldn't consider that. And then on top of it, you know, then he's like, but I want to be on a better team. The question is he Alvin Harper, a la, you know, playing next to Michael Harper? And I know Debo's a different type of receiver, but the way that scheme runs, can he exist outside of the Kyle Shanahan offense successfully? And that is a fair question to ask of him because there's a lot of stuff that San Francisco offense does very uniquely, you know, outside of other offenses. So does his skill set translate to a different type of offense? And I think teams are asking that. And I think maybe the Niners feel that they could put someone else in his spot. You know, that's Kyle Shanahan's mode. He could be wrong, but maybe they feel like they could plug someone else in and they don't need to spend the money there. They're going to have to pay Brock Purdy next year. So,
but like my whole point is this, right? Brandon Ayuk is 60 receptions, 748 yards, 56 receptions, 826 yards, 78 receptions, 1,015 yards, and then 75 receptions, 1,342 yards. He's never had a 10 touchdown season. Like, I don't understand where this top 10 receiver shit comes from. I don't get it.
Agents,
yeah,
Twitter,
recency bias.
Recency bias. I mean,
he's 6 foot, 200 pounds. Ryan, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he's right around 6 foot, 200 pounds. Somebody can Google that.
You actually nailed it. He's right on 6 foot, 200 pounds.
That's nothing special. He's got better size than Devontae Smith, but I think Schmitty's got way better hands, better route runner.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ayuk's good. I just don't know if he's Batman or Robin, and he wants Batman money. I mean, that's really the best way to put it.
He wants top 5 receiver money. They're telling you want Diaz for $30 million a year. That's Tyreek Hill money.
Yeah.
Like him and Tyreek Hill don't even belong in the same cafeteria.
No, they don't. I mean, and you know, I don't blame someone for trying to get the most money possible, for sure. I get that. And like they've paid a lot of people on that 49ers team. So I understand him wanting to get paid in general in the grand scheme of things, looking at that organization. So I don't blame him for wanting to get paid. But I feel like, do you want more money or do you want the best situation? You know,
I think he wants a mixture. I think he wants to play for Washington and play for a quarterback that he knows, or wants to play for Pittsburgh, play for a coach he knows, and be able to get paid. Be in a moderate situation and be able to get paid. He doesn't want to be on the worst team in football, which he views the New England Patriots, but he also doesn't want to get underpaid.
And this is why the NFL beats the NBA, because he cannot force his way to a team like he could in the NBA, you know. And I'm not saying the guy shouldn't be able to go where he wants, but like, listen, man, like
I hate when babies get their way. I can't stand it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame him for wanting more money. It's his last year, right? So, I mean, no, wait, he doesn't have a contract right now, right? He's a free agent.
No, this is his last year.
Is it? Okay. So he had a 5-year deal.
Sure.
I don't remember if he's first or second rounder, but
he's in contract this year. They want to keep him this year. He won't play under his current contract.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably looking around like, I mean, is Trent Williams back in camp with the Niners? I don't know. Is that like, did they fix that yet? I mean, they're going to have to pay people. And
the funny thing is Trent Williams is asking for more money. It's absolutely insane. I can't understand that.
He's pulling the Jason Peters right now.
He got paid more money than any tackle when he signed that contract. He forced his way out of Washington, got to San Fran. San Fran paid him like the best left tackle in football, like he is, and now he wants to renegotiate. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's
like that is just like we're just basically milking it. Like that's not cool.
Yeah, that sucks for them. I'm sorry. I feel bad for the Niners. Not.
I don't either, but I'm just letting you know like where they're at.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna. It's always tough to make it back to the Super Bowl a year after you lose it. I mean, historically we've seen that, right? It's tough to get back to back. You know, very few teams do it, and they're gonna have to make some choices in that organization. But I think they understand that they can't have the luxury of paying because they paid Debo too. So yeah, they're gonna have to go toward the draft, and I don't know how you're gonna pay other people and pay Brock Purdy next year. So they're not going to give the kid his money. So I don't blame. He's trying to cash in though at the right time off his best season.
Everyone on that team cash in, though, bro. Everyone on that team is trying to cash in. They're all trying to cash in.
Yeah.
Trent Williams is trying to cash in. I'm shocked CMC's not saying he wants more money. What's up, Jor?
Right.
All right, let's move off that topic. Let's move on to rookie quarterbacks. I want to play a game that I asked you guys before last year with rookie quarterbacks, and let's see how we do. It's what week does this quarterback start their first game? Okay, I'm going to give you a rookie quarterback, and I want you to tell me when they start their first game. We'll start with J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. Mixed reports coming out of Minnesota. Some Minnesota beat writers are saying he's Steve Young. Other ones are saying he's a bust. So it's really funny what's coming out of Minnesota camp. Like I actually think there's like a civil war of beat writers. They're talking about like there's definitely a Minnesota beat writer that's tracking his touchdown to interception ratio in practice, kind of like Elliott Shore-Parks does for Jalen Hurts. By the way, did you hear Jalen Hurts broke the record for most passes without an interception in Eagles training camp history?
Wow.
I didn't. What the hell is that? That's a thing?
Quite the feat.
Oh my God. What a bunch of morons. But JJ McCarthy, when does he start his first game?
Week 1.
I'm kind of leaning that way too. I mean, I get it. You got Sam Darnold. You can let the veteran go out there and take the lumps and ease JJ McCarthy in, but I feel like McCarthy's going to start week 1.
Sam Darnold's why I'm saying week 1. That dude has nothing between the ears.
Hey, remember,
empty space.
He's Steve Young. Remember that. That's what I said last year.
I'll guess week 8.
What's funny is that their bye.
Their bye week is week 6. I'm guessing they let Sam Darnold go out and get beat up by the Lions before letting JJ McCarthy start his career off in an easier matchup against the Rams.
The Rams is a short week. That's week 7. Week 8 would be the long week versus the Colts. I like that answer. I said on Wire to Wire week 1 of 2025. I think he sat the whole year, but I think the answer is week 8, if I'm being honest with you.
Well, teams do not, they want to get that 5th year, like a lot of teams, and have that flexibility with these first round quarterbacks. So I feel like they push them into the fire way sooner than they should. But I just look at that team that he's going to have around him. And I think if you have a run heavy, short pass scheme, you can kind of design an offense around him to give him some success early on And I just don't know what you're going to get by having him sit and watch Sam Darnold. He's not exactly going to be a great mentor to him of winning. You know, was he going to watch him throw interceptions? Like, I don't know. I don't know if there's enough upside to just sit him for 7, unless he looks awful in camp. Like, I'm talking like god awful, where like you want to put him at 3rd string. I don't see why you don't start him.
Okay, so we'll go week 8 for me too. Let's go with Drake May. Kyle, I'm gonna start with you on this one because I really like your insider take here.
Joe Milton.
Woo. Yeah, no, it's Kyle's mic. I think it's Kyle's. I muted him and it stopped. There's a little mic.
Oh, it's mine?
Yeah, a little bit, not much. But
my fan, so I can take that off in a little bit. Yeah, appreciate it. So Drake May, I want to believe that he starts early on, but part of me thinks Jacoby Brissett's going to start at least the first half of the season. So I think Drake May, it might be like a week, maybe like week 10 or something like that. I think he starts in the second half of the season. I don't think they throw him out there week 1. I'd love to see it, but I don't think it happens.
Okay. I'll say week 3. I say they go 0-2, and then they start seeing what they're going to have with Drake May. I think that's a terrible idea. I also think that Joe Milton take of like him taking the job. Here's the thing about Joe Milton. He looks great without pads on, and he looks awesome. He's super athletic, and he's got a great arm, but I think he starts week 3. I really believe that a couple games of Jacoby Brissett, 0-2, a couple blowouts, and yeah, let's see what we got with the Rook.
I'll guess week 5. I don't think week 3 and 4 you're looking at the Jets and 49ers. I don't think they'll want him to start against the 49ers. That might be a bit difficult for him. You don't want to accidentally destroy his confidence too early if that goes south, which it very well could. So I say they'll probably start him week 5 versus the Dolphins.
And I think we can all agree, and stop me if I'm wrong, I think we can all agree that Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Bo Nix will all start week 1. Are we good there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Drake, I don't know. For me, it depends how the first 4 games go. It really does. I mean, if it's competitive and, you know, there's something to play for, maybe that they're letting Jacoby do that. And he's going to ride the ship, but it's hard for me. I would guess a week 4 or 5, you know, just to let him get the speed of the game down. I mean, I've heard mixed reports out of training camp. I don't know what to believe out of training camp these days. You really have to like decipher the code from the shit people write. Like, is it the team reporter? Is it a beat reporter? Is it a guy that's making a blog and trying to get clicks? You know, it's like, yeah, it's annoying when it's this time of year because it's fun, but it's annoying because you got to filter the BS out. And you know, I've heard that Joe Milton take, and I laughed when I heard it. I was like, yes, sure, he's going to take the job. My ass. You know, so Jacoby's there for a reason.
The funny thing about Joe Milton is the same thing I say about Will Levis. Joe Milton flushed out at Michigan before he had a decent season at Tennessee. Will Levis couldn't beat out Sean Clifford at Penn State while he played at Kentucky. A lot of people didn't know that he had a quarterback competition with Sean Clifford at Penn State and lost it. That's why he was at Kentucky. But
I honestly didn't know that.
Let's talk about the AFC South. Let's talk about the over-unders in the AFC South and where you guys rely on each one of these over-unders. So a lot of these teams all have promise. All 4 of them are walking in this season feeling great. You're a Titans fan, you have a new coach, you have some new shiny new weapons to put around Will Levis. You have a new running back. You have a running back tandem with Spears, and you know, you signed Tony Pollard from the Dallas Cowboys. You have a little 1-2 punch. If you're a Colts fan, you get your starting quarterback back. Anthony Richardson's back. Second year of Shane Steichen. They were very competitive with a backup quarterback last year. Shane Steichen's a very, very good coach. They should be excited. As a Jaguars fan, everyone's healthy. Now or never. You bring in Gabe Davis, who's a huge, like a glue piece for your wide receiver room. You get Christian Kirk back healthy. You bolster up the offensive line. Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence. It's now or never, right? And if you're a Texan fan, you got to be excited coming off last season with C.J. Stroud. You go out there and add Stephon Diggs. You go out there and add Joe Mixon. D'Amico Ryans, another year. You have to be excited. So where are we at on the AFC South? We'll start with the over-unders. We'll go highest to lowest based off of what Vegas has. We'll start with the Houston Texans. Over-under is 9.5 wins. 9.5 wins for the Houston Texans. I'll start with you, Kyle. Over-under 9.5 Houston Texans.
I would say I feel like they build off of last season. I like some of the moves that they've made. D'Amico Ryans obviously has them going in the right direction. I'll go over 9.5 with the Texans.
Okay, that's fair. Most people are. They're minus 150 for the over. They're plus 122 on the under. Brett, where are you at? Over under 9.5 wins.
I think the answer is pretty easy for this one. I think it's over unless if C.J. Stroud really has a terrible sophomore slump or something tragic happens to him, like he suffers a bad injury. I'll take the over on this one.
Okay. That's 2 overs. Godfrey, where are you at? Over under 9.5 wins for the Houston Texans.
I'm over. I mean, they made some aggressive moves in the offseason. I mean, I don't see why they can't get 10 wins. They made moves on offense. They made moves on defense. You bring in Diggs. You bring in Mixon. You bring in the sack daddy. And I'm probably missing a few moves on top of that. I think they got better. Tank Dell's going to be back. You got a deeper receiver room. I don't see why they can't at least win 10 games if we're just talking over under here.
Can I tell you why? You got Jerome Walker here saying over. You got Ryan saying over. A lot of people saying over. I'm going to go under. I'll be that guy. I want to read you off the Texans schedule just because you all said over. I think they split with the Colts. They almost always split with the Colts. Is everyone okay with that? Me saying they split with the Colts? Yeah, so they start 0-1 because they start at Colts. I'll give them the win when they play the Colts at home. They play at home versus the Bears week 2. We'll say that's 1-1, but I wouldn't be shocked if Caleb Williams and that trio of receivers beats the Texans week 2, but we'll say 1-1. They definitely get a win week 3. They play at Minnesota. Let's just say they split with Jacksonville, just for my own humor. They win at home. They're 3-1. Okay? Here's where it gets interesting. They're going to get a win over the Patriots. That makes them 4-1. They get the Buffalo Bills. Would you guys be shocked that the Buffalo Bills beat the Houston Texans?
No, I mean, I think a lot of people are writing them off. I would not be shocked.
Okay.
I mean, I can't. It's hard to shock me with upsets in the NFL, but I think that's possible. When you got a quarterback of Josh Allen's caliber, I think at any time you could be competing for that game.
All right, let's just say they win the game. They go 5 they're 5-1. At Packers, loss. At Jets, loss. Lions, loss. At Cowboys, loss. They split with the Titans. At Jaguars, loss. At Chiefs, loss. Dolphins, Ravens. That's not an easy schedule. That schedule's wild. And I gave you Buffalo. I think they go 8-9. I really do. It's a very tough schedule. They might go 9-8 if things go well, but with great power comes great responsibility. And with a good season coming out of nowhere with a last place schedule comes a first place schedule to smack you in the face. They got Dolphins, Ravens, Chiefs, Bills, Jets, Lions, at Dallas. That is not an easy schedule. It's a very tough schedule.
I will say, by saying going over, it's 10. Because you said over under is 9.5. I wasn't comfortably 11 or something. I think they can squeeze up to 10, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were 9-8.
Correct.
I think that would still be a really good season.
It's nothing I would bet. It's nothing I would bet. I still think they make the playoff. I think they're a wild card team. 9-8 is probably where I'll land on. But I don't want to be overreactive, right? I think that CJ Stroud has somewhat of a sophomore slump. And it's nothing against CJ Stroud. No one took the league by storm like CJ Stroud did last year. It's very, very infrequent. You see a quarterback just, I got it. I'm there. I'm him. Like, watch him at Ohio State. He played in 5 big games, and he was terrible in 3 of them. Go watch the tape of CJ Stroud in Michigan. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying he was a little underrated when he came into the draft. He's a little overrated now. Can we agree there?
Oh, he's definitely overrated right now. I mean, it's for sure. People are overrating him like crazy, even in the fantasy football world. The people that you see him getting drafted over quarterback wise, you're like, huh? Like, so he's definitely in that overrated mode. But I think they added enough. I think they added to the team. I mean, they Joe Mixon's an improvement on that run game. I mean, that defensive line bringing in Daniel Hunter is no small feat in itself. So I don't know. I see them in that. I could see them beating the Dolphins. There's teams. I could see them beating the Chiefs. The Chiefs every year give up one of those games that are head scratchers, multiple, and still win the Super Bowl. But I'm just saying during the regular season, there's some play there. I wouldn't be uncomfortable taking the over on those guys.
I get it. So, hold on 1 second. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, next one we have is the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts. They're both at 8.5. We'll start with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll start with the Jaguars, 8.5. Where are you guys at on the Jacksonville Jaguars? I'll start with this one. You guys know where I'm going. You guys know it. Listen, I'm a Trevor Lawrence fan. I'll admit it. I'm going over 8.5. I think that Doug Peterson, former Eagles coach, Trevor Lawrence, I think he puts it all together this year. I'll go over 8.5 for the Jaguars. I think they win the division.
You haven't won the division too. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I haven't gone over 8.5, I haven't won it. They have a rough schedule too. Let me be very clear about this, right?
Yeah.
Their schedule is very similar, but it ends very lightly, right? It ends with like the Raiders. You got their schedule is tough too. They got to play at Buffalo. They got to play at Miami. They got to play the Browns in Jacksonville. They got to play at home versus the Colts. Obviously, their division. They play at the Bears. They're playing the NFC North. Very good division. You also get your built-in win with the Vikings in Jacksonville. They got to play at Philadelphia, another tough game. So Doug Peterson returning back to the link. But they get the Patriots. They got a couple bye weeks. That was a shot.
I mean, I'll just say that I think the Jags are going to be under. And my issue with the Jags is the way that they finished last season. Trevor Lawrence struggled in terms of turnovers. I just don't know what I'm going to get from him this season. And I agree that this is a big season for him because he came in with a lot of promise. He started off really well, and he took a kind of a big step back last year. So if he starts off slow this year, I feel like there's going to be some rumblings. He may start putting pressure on himself. And I just feel like they're maybe like a 7-10 type of team this year.
Now, let me ask you a question real quick. You say you took a big step back last year. I just want to reiterate something real quick. They were 8-2 or 7-2 when Christian Kirk got injured and he got injured. And then they obviously got beat down the stretch, right? They lost to the Buccaneers. They lost to the Titans. They lost to the Ravens. They lost to the Browns. They lost 5 out of their last 6 games after being, I believe, let me just see where they were. They were 8-3 when they beat the Texans on November 26th. They were tied for the 1 seed in the AFC. And they got hurt in that Monday Night Football game versus the Bengals when the Bengals were playing a backup quarterback and Trevor Lawrence rolled his ankle and Christian Kirk got hurt. They lost that game versus the Bengals. They shouldn't have lost. They should have been 9-3. That game, he played incredible. 31. He was 22 of 29, 258, 2 touchdowns, and he got hurt. He rolled his ankle. Really bad ankle roll. he came back like a moron and played early versus the Browns, and they almost won that game. They lost 31-27 versus the Browns. The Browns were the number one defense in football. He was 28 of 50, 257, 3 touchdowns, and 3 first-half interceptions, which obviously look bad. They look bad. The interceptions look bad, but that was the week after he rolled his ankle. And then we all got on this show after the Ravens-Jaguars game and all said we thought Trevor Lawrence outplayed Lamar Jackson that game. And they all said Lamar Jackson's the MVP. And we watched that game on Sunday Night Football, and we were like, I don't really know about that. So if you want to go from Christmas Eve on, okay, fine. He lost to the Buccaneers 30-12, bad game. Did he even play that game? He did play that game. And then they won 26-0 versus the Panthers, and they lost their week 18 matchup, their 17th game versus the Titans, 28-20. So, yeah, did he digress at the end of the year? Sure. But he was 8-3 on the road to be 9-3 before he rolled his ankle.
Right, and I understand, like, the injury comes into play, but there was also, like, some moments where he didn't seem like the most confident quarterback. And I think down that stretch, like you said, he started turning the ball over a little bit more. I think he started getting a little gun shy in terms of getting the ball out of his hands, and he started taking some hits and everything like that. So I just need to see, like, can he bounce back this year?
It's fair.
And play like the guy who came out of Clemson, who we were told was like the next it guy. Because, yes, early in the season, he looked pretty good, but I'm going off of the last part of the season. And if there's any carryover to that, then, yeah, I can't see the Jacksonville Jaguars winning too many games. And even the Christian Kirk thing, he got hurt. I mean, there were some Jags fans or like some Trevor Lawrence fans who tried to make it seem like Christian Kirk, isn't a number one to kind of make an excuse for Trevor Lawrence. So it's either he's not a number one and the injury doesn't matter, or he's was a number one for them.
He could be the number one for them, but not really be a number one. Can't that be true?
Well, I mean, yeah, yes. But I'm just saying, like, there were some people who were like excusing Trevor Lawrence's poor play because of weapons around him. And I was like, well, the same weapons he had, they got off to a good start. So just because, one goes down, it can't all of a sudden be that the weapons around him aren't good enough. I think that's where.
Would you agree that the weapons around him at the end of the season without Christian Kirk were good enough? Do you think they were? Do you think Calvin Ridley, Evan Ingram, the ghost of Zay Jones, and Travis Etienne are efficient offense?
I think those are good enough weapons.
Yeah, Zay Jones played well when Christian Kirk was there. So now you just have to, shift things around. Look, if Trevor Lawrence wants to be a top-tier quarterback, you have to elevate the play of somebody around you.
Okay, that's fair.
It's the over 8.5.
That's where I'm at.
8.5. Where are we at? I'm over. Kyle's under.
Yep.
Man, they're such a tough team to gauge because I really think like Gabe Davis is not a sufficient replacement of Calvin Ridley. I do not. Maybe he takes a step up and they've seen something in their analytics or scouting that I haven't seen. And I
don't think he's the one that replaces him. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is the one that replaces him. The LSU wide receiver they drafted in the first round. I think that's who replaces Calvin Ridley. And Brian Thomas Jr., you're talking about a guy, he's 6'4", 205, and runs like a deer. So, I don't think that I think Gabe Davis is your run blocking wide receiver, your scrappy guy that you throw in there to get you first down yardage. That's who Gabe Davis has always been.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas Jr. is who they replaced Calvin Ridley with.
My problem is their defense.
Okay, that's fair.
So that's where, their secondary was pretty bad last year. You got a really good linebacker on that team. You got some talent on the D-line. So did they improve the defense? I'm not sure. I'm going to go over begrudgingly slightly. I do think they have a good core there, but that defense has to step up this year. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, I got him on my dynasty team, so I own some shares of him. So I think he does.
I don't know who they're starting at corner right now. Their official depth chart has Ronald Darby starting at left corner and right corner, and there's Darnell Savage starting at free safety and nickel. I don't know who they're starting in their secondary.
That's a poverty secondary.
That's a terrible secondary.
They're like, hi guys. I'm here to play football today. Let me park my bike over here.
An awful secondary.
So I'm gonna begrudgingly go over because I think they got the offensive talent.
A little bit more than a little iffy. Ronald Darby stinks. Let's be clear. Ronald Darby is awful. It's a little bit more than a little iffy. I agree with you, Jory.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Listen, when I watched that game against the Bengals with Jake Browning, their secondary was getting picked apart by Jake Browning. So that's their biggest hole, and I don't know if they did enough to improve that in the offseason, personally.
It's fair. So
they're gonna have to have exceptional defensive line play to cover up the holes in that.
I think their defensive line and their linebacking core are both above average. They had Eric Armstead, they have Josh Allen, they have Travon Walker, they have Aluakan, who I love as a linebacker, they have Devin Lloyd. So I think that their linebacking core and their front seven's fine. I think their secondary is they got famous Amos as one of their safeties. Adrian Amos is still playing. Like that secondary is terrible. I didn't even realize it was this bad. I might want to change my opinion. I'm kidding, but that secondary is terrible.
Yeah, to me, this one's an under, and it really comes back to that defense. I think the offense. I think Trevor Lawrence will win them games. I think they'll win about 7-8 games on the back of their offense, but I can't do this with the secondary. They stole the Packers secondary of Amos and Savage, which isn't a great secondary in the year 2024. That's terrible. Ronald Darby's washed. And when it comes to the offense,
Adrian Amos was washed with Green Bay.
Oh yeah, and then Trevor Lawrence, I still think he's a quality quarterback. These wide receivers, I think they can be good. I just need to see if they can catch a football. I know that was an issue with them last year. Trevor Lawrence had issues as well, but I think this offense will be good enough to get them wins. But I think this defense is holding them back hard.
Okay. Trevor Lawrence's best days were at Clemson. I mean, yeah, he won a national championship there. Like I really think it's very tough to replicate what he did at Clemson. I don't never think he'll replicate that in the NFL. That's national championship as a true freshman versus Alabama. We're gonna pretend the guy can't play football. Wild. But let's move on. Indianapolis Colts, 8.5 wins. I love Shane Steichen, man. I really do. I love Shane Steichen.
I like Shane Steichen too, but the comp that people want to make, I've heard it out there a few times, not a ton, of he did miracles with Jalen Hurts, is not really, it's a false equivalency. If I'm going to look at Anthony Richardson's college career next to Jalen Hurts' college career, Anthony Richardson couldn't hit the broadside of a barn when he was throwing the ball at Florida. He has all the physical traits. Can he stay healthy? Is Shane Steichen going to be able to work miracles with him as far as getting him to be efficient in his offense? It could happen. It's possible. I see some upside there. I see some talent. I still think 4 was a reach for them when they drafted him, but okay, that's their guy. We saw the offense operate efficiently, but Gardner Minshew and Anthony Richardson aren't the same type of quarterback. So can he mold him into that fashion? Jalen Hurts, even at his rawest form coming in the NFL, had way more passing skills than Anthony Richardson coming out of college. I think that's fair to say, right? I mean, I'm just going based off the little couple of games I saw, mainly the one where it was the futility bowl of Will Levis versus Anthony Richardson.
Bro, listen to me. You're preaching to the choir. I think Anthony Richardson stinks as a thrower of football. I love Shane Steichen, and I'm trying to give him all the credit in the world. I'm going under here.
Me too.
8.5. I'm just trying to I like Shane Steichen a lot, and he's done miracle work with quarterbacks, but I don't see how they can do it. They added the wide receiver from Texas, opposite of Xavier Worthy. They really didn't do much this offseason. They're just hoping that Anthony Richardson comes back and leads them to the promised land. I think Anthony Richardson will pick up a lot of yards with his legs. I don't think he'll keep him on the field, and I think teams will start double A gaps blitzing him, like sending the house, cover 0, and getting after him.
Yeah, they're gonna have to run the crap out of the ball. I hope Jonathan Taylor's ready for a heavy workload like that as well. I mean, they're going to have. You're going to have a balanced offense. I would say they're going to have to run more than they're going to have to pass. And if you get in a wrong game situation, you're going to be forced to pass. You can't have that luxury. So I'm going under.
I think we're all under.
Yeah, I'm definitely under on them.
All right, let's move on to the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans over-under is sitting at 6.5.
Whew.
That is a crazy over-under, and I think it's a sucker's bet. Why is this over-under so low? Vegas isn't stupid.
I'm assuming most of it is the questions with Will Levis because, you know, a lot of people didn't like him coming out of Kentucky, you know, looking at last season. So they're going to keep the number low. I guess I'll just go first. I'm going to take the over because if whatever question marks you may have about Will Levis, I got to give Tennessee credit. They are putting everybody and anybody around him possible to make him play better. And I feel like he'll probably take a bit of a jump this year. And because of that, and look, defensively, they brought in, you know, Snead and some guys on the defensive end as well. So I think they could be pretty good on that side of the ball. And maybe early on, that side of the ball might have to carry the offense while Levis slowly gets, you know, going. But I think by midseason and end of the year, I think Tennessee could be the second best team in this division. And because of that, I got to go with the over.
I don't know about the second best team in this division, but I will say this. I don't see how they lose 10 games. I don't. Yeah. Because they bring in Denard Wilson as their defensive coordinator. They also brought in L'Jarius Sneed, very, very good cornerback. They have Jamal Adams, who I think he's a little washed, but we'll see how that plays out. They have Quadre Diggs there, Amani Hooker. I don't see this defense being bad. And as long as Will Levis doesn't piss down his leg, you have all the weapons in the world. You got Ridley, Hopkins, Boyd, Treylon Burks, Tony Pollard, and Tajay Spears. They added to the offensive line. You got J.C. Latham from Alabama, Peter Skoronski. Like that, I don't see how they're bad. How are they bad? I don't think they'll be good. I just don't see how they'll be bad. And the only way they're bad is if you get bad Will Levis, which we've seen that before. And I don't know what Callahan can do with Levis. I don't know. But I guess we'll find out.
We're forgetting none of us have mentioned a factor that will lead me to, if I can buy 2 more wins, I'll take them at 8.5. And I'm going to tell you why. Bill Callahan, Sr., is their offensive line coach, and he is one of the best of all time in offensive line coaches. And that is, I'm telling you right now, the offensive line is going to be way better. It's going to be polished. They're going to be efficient. That's going to help Will Levis play. I'm not really tickled by Tony Pollard. You know, L'Jarius needs a good corner, but I have some misgivings about him moving outside of the defensive system he's part of. Can that translate? We'll see. I don't know the similarities of the two, but I always get nervous with corners like that. We've seen it time and time again. We've seen it on the Titans too. Malcolm Butler, right? But different team, different organization in a sense. But I do think that I saw some stuff last year from Will Levis, enough to give him a shot of at least winning over 6 games. The Dolphins game specifically, the Dolphins had to win that game. It was in Miami, and they shit the bed, and the Titans won that game. Had no business winning that game. No business winning it. I think Tajay Spears.
They have 4 wins. They have 4 built-in wins on their schedule. The Titans' schedule is weird, right? Because, I think one of the most interesting games of the Titans' schedule is week 1. They play at the Chicago Bears. Would anybody be shocked if either team won that game?
No.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Titans won. I wouldn't be shocked if the Bears won. Anybody think that's a game layup either way?
Yeah.
I find it hard to call any game a layup necessarily in the NFL, but yeah. So,
Yeah, I could see it going anywhere.
You wouldn't be shocked if they lost to the Bears, right?
No.
You wouldn't be shocked if they lost to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers?
No.
You wouldn't be shocked if they lost to the Packers with Jordan Love?
No. I wouldn't
You
also
wouldn't
be
be shocked if they
beat
lost
Jordan Love.
You wouldn't be shocked if they lost at Miami with Tua in September? Would you be shocked if the Colts beat him with Anthony Richardson? Would you be shocked if they lost at Orchard Park versus the Bills? Would you be shocked if they lost at the Lions? That's their first 7 games. They could legitimately be 4-3 or 0-7. Now here's where the Titans' schedule gets really easy. I'd be shocked if they lost at home to the Patriots. I'd be shocked if they lost to the Chargers. I'd be shocked if they lost at home to the Vikings. They have 3 built-in wins, and then you get the Commanders on December 1st. Like, that's 4 wins to me right there.
I think the biggest problem I see with the Titans isn't even Will Levis or the offense. I'm questioning who's going to rush the passer. Last year, they were just awful at getting pressures and just getting into the backfield in general. So, and I'm not sure they really addressed that need. I think they had a great offseason, don't get me wrong. I'm going to take the over. I think it's an easy over. But listen, my question with the Titans is, how are they going to get pressure on the quarterback?
Yeah, and you got to get pressure on the quarterback with someone other than Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah, I think their game plan is run the ball a lot, eat the clock, score, put the opponent into a passing position where rushing is important, but you can kind of give the underneath bend don't break model, right, which is very popular in NFL these days. So I mean, we'll see, but I do think I expect their offense to be a surprise. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, why get Mike Vrabel out of there and this and that, and we'll see, man. I just think Tajay Spears and his missing ligament might have a good year this year.
All right. George says, watch the name, Devondre Sweat. Let's move on to the NFC. We have the NFC South this week. This should go a little quicker than the other one, in my opinion. But the Atlanta Falcons are 9.5. I think this is the toughest one on the board. I think that the Atlanta Falcons, you don't know, right? This would be something that I would just tell you not to bet. Could they win 10 games and win that division? Yes. Could they win 9 games and still win that division? Yes. 9.5 is a weird number. They have a real quarterback. They have a real backup quarterback. They have a new head coach. They have Drake London. They have Kyle Pitts. They have Bijan Robinson. They have a defense that's going to be under Raheem Morris, who made defense look great for the Rams that had 2 players on it. I don't know. Can I say I don't know? I'll pick the over. I'll take the over, but I begrudgingly.
Oh, this is tough, but I'll take the over as well. I think their defense is going to take another step forward. I thought they were actually a solid defense last year. I think they only get better. And Kirk Cousins, even on one Achilles, is such an upgrade over Desmond Ridder. The fact that their playmakers are actually going to get the ball in their hands is going to be a night and day difference for this offense. So, you know what? I'm with you, Gene. I'll take the over.
But begrudgingly, we're not very happy about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to win like 11, 12 games. But
wow.
I mean, look, just because they are the Falcons, you have to be begrudgingly with everything, because even with those names you mentioned, it would be an Atlanta Falcons way to somehow screw it up and be like 7-10. But I agree with you, Brett. Like, first off, the fact that they traded Desmond Ridder and got Rondale Moore for him.
Who's
like,
now over a year, by the way.
True, but they at least got a live body for Desmond Ridder, which is hilarious to me. I don't know what Arizona expects from him, but Kirk Cousins, he's not going to wow you. He's not going to necessarily shoot you in the foot. Like, he'll be consistent. He'll be somewhere relevant, but not too relevant where you think he's like this really great quarterback. I feel like that's all they need. Ridder couldn't find Pitts for whatever reason. Like, you drafted him high enough. I figured you'd call plays to get him open. He couldn't get him the ball. Drake London, he could barely get him the ball. Their offense became Bijan Robinson handoffs and screens. That was it.
They didn't even use Bijan. They used Tyler Algier more.
Well, Algier was like last year. But last year they slowly switched to Bijan Robinson, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, that guy is really good," and they finally figured it out. So they should understand that now, and they should be good on offense. And defense was actually pretty good last year at times. So it's like they should be able to do the 9.5 easy, but it's the Atlanta Falcons, so you have to be cautious with it.
They were a tough team at home. And by the way, Arthur Blank had that season, and the Steelers are like, you know what? We want you. You come and run our offense, big guy. Yeah,
Arthur Smith? No,
Arthur Smith.
The owner of the Falcons is not.
Yeah, wrong Arthur. But still, I don't know. Then he got a job somehow. They're like, you know what, man, we love what you did down there. Come on up here to Pittsburgh.
I think they're really looking at what he did as an offensive coordinator over Tennessee.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. He just was an awful coach.
I don't think he was a good coach.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely. I actually think that he was playing against Bijan Robinson every week in fantasy and was just like, I'm gonna hold him back, make sure I don't lose this week. It didn't make sense.
Yeah, you don't pick a running back that high in the NFL and not release him to the hounds like right away. Like
let's make Kyle Pitts a blocker. We'll throw the ball to Austin Hooper. Like, what?
Yeah, they
so backwards.
Yeah, they were really good at home last year, despite all that stuff going on. I'm gonna go over. I think Kirk Cousins is gonna activate Kyle Pitts for what we thought he was able to do. I think you're going to see his best season yet. Usually year 3 is when tight ends really pop off. But, you know, he should have popped off earlier with his freakish skills, but he really didn't have anybody to throw on the ball. Bijan's going to get released. Zach Robinson's going to have kind of a wide zone rushing offense, you know, coming over from the Sean McVay school. So I definitely think Bijan's going to get used more. You're going to see more efficiency. I think you're going to see Drake London. So I think that offense is going to do really well. I just, you know, and I think other teams are going to take a step back in the division, but I take the Falcons to go over and win the division, even though they made the stupidest pick I've seen in years in the first round with Michael Penix. But that's what makes me want to. That one move right there makes me question everything else before me, and makes me shaky about even making this prediction I'm making just because of that move. Because Arthur is not there for that pick, so you can't blame him. So was that Bijan all Arthur, you know, or was it both Arthurs? I don't know, because there's a constant remainder, and that was the same type of stupid thinking that was still there after they changed the coach. So I don't know, man.
All right, so Brett, you're going over. I'm going over. Kyle's going over. What are you going over under, Godfrey?
I'm over.
All right, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think this is the easiest bet of the year. 7.5. I think this is the easiest bet of the year. Last year I was 1-1 on my easy bets. I will take the under 7.5. I think the Buccaneers are going to stink this year. I think they got sold a bucket of beans for I think they got sold a bucket of beans. They're not magic. Baker Mayfield's not good. I'll take the under. I don't think that Todd Bowles can make up for an offense that's a year older, that's an offensive lineman down already. I don't like them. I really think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a tough year this year. I'll take the over 7.5, and I think it's the easiest one in the whole division.
Yeah. Hush your mouth there, Gene. You're telling me Baker Mayfield's leadership won't carry them to the division title?
No.
Oh, okay. Just curious. Heard all about from Eagles fans, I heard about what a great leader Baker was, and he's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I heard that from Eagles fans. I was like,
you're listening to.
I was like, Balak, delete.
But you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, but I'm just like, listen, the Bucks. I do think they take a step back. They kept Mike Evans, which I didn't think they're going to be able to do. Good for them. You know, I think they'll be a middling team. You know, maybe 7-9. What was the over under?
7.5.
Yeah, I'm definitely going under. I think 7 is their best case scenario. It's the Mr. Long V. That's my buddy from England.
The Matthew Godfrey.
What are you doing up so late? Anyway,
there he goes.
Yeah, under. Under all day.
All right. So, Kyle, what are you going? Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, because I was just looking at their schedule, and even with all that, like to try to get to around 7 to even make this a reasonable bet, it's like, do you think they beat the Commanders, the Broncos? After that, it's like, I don't know, the Giants, Panthers. Yeah, it has to be under. I just don't see how they get to that number unless they, split with the Saints and Falcons, and then maybe that gets you a little bit closer. But they have like legitimately tough games on their schedule that's sitting here right now. I don't see them having a chance at winning, so I got to go with the under. I just don't see. And look, Baker is a guy that teammates seem to like him. He can get guys going. It's also easy, like when the team's playing well. Like last year, they played pretty decent, and it was easy for players to run alongside of him. Well, if they struggle, a lot of his rah-rah stuff might get on some people's nerves. So, yeah, but I'll take the under.
Okay. Brett?
I'll take the under, and I think their biggest issue, I think their run game is going to be non-existent. I'm not sold on Rachaad White, Bucky Irving, Chase Edmonds backfield. I think they're going to be very one-dimensional and rely too much on Baker. So I'm going to go with the under on this one.
Little fantasy sleeper, by the way. Bucky Irving, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, ex-Oregon Duck running back. Bucky Irving's a good little back. So be prepared for him to take over that top spot over Rachaad White. Might not be 5-6 weeks into the season, but he'll be a little sleeper. Watch out for Bucky. New Orleans Saints also at 7.5. And this is also a very easy one for me. I love the under here. Absolutely love it. Almost as much as I love the under for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Derek Carr did not fit in with that team last year. They had a lot of issues. You got Chris Olave, and then Alvin Kamara's holding out. I do not like their receiving core. If you can tell me they're number 2 and number 3 wide receivers going into the season, I might send you $5 via Venmo.
AJ Perry.
That's not his name.
AT Perry, whatever. Something. Perry.
AT Perry. Who is he? Without Google.
He's a good. He's
wasn't he like a Navy quarterback?
No.
Or Army or something like that?
Went to Wake Forest.
He's a receiver.
I thought he played great 12 receptions in his career. I can't. I'm not doing it. It's not. I don't like this team. I think they're getting older. I'm not a fan. I am very much on the under for the New Orleans Saints this year.
The under 6.5.
7.5. Same as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think both these teams stink.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I wouldn't bet it, but I would go under.
I'm definitely going under. Very happy with my pick of the under too.
Yeah. I mean, have the Saints even gotten past like the Sean Payton destruction of their salary cap?
No,
they have not. Yeah, they're still trying to get out from that. Like that's a major problem in New Orleans. I mean, Dennis Allen as your coach is another issue. So those two alone, there's not a chance they see 7.5. I'm going under as well.
Yeah,
Chase Young ended up over there.
I mean, of course.
I think under easily.
Last one of the night. Carolina Panthers. Over under 5.5.
Like they might as well just skip the season, take their number 1 pick next year, and just try again. No. There's no way. So under easy.
Brett?
Yeah.
Whew. I really do want to say over, but this one is so tough because just how bad the Panthers were last year. But you know what? I'll begrudgingly say they get to 6. I'll go over.
Godfrey?
Oh my God, I don't even know what to do with this team.
They look great right now versus the Patriots. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're looking incredible in that 0-0 matchup over there.
It's 5.5.
5.5.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. I'll begrudgingly take 6. I mean, no, fuck it. I'm going under. Let's just stay. I'm going under. I mean, I don't even know. Man, no one wants to play for that owner. I mean, they got rid of Burns. I get why. That Legette's not looking great in camp because he's hurt, right? So, I mean, I don't know, man. The quarterback's gotta have a better year. Can this guy that they hired from the Bucs, put something in place? We'll see. Maybe he's an unknown. He comes out of nowhere. But right now, I have to go the under.
I am going to full send the over on this. I first of all, let me just tell you, they loaded up this year in receivers, and they 100% addressed their offensive line concerns. They went out there and they got Deontay Johnson. You already had Jonathan Mingo. You have Adam Thielen back. You drafted Xavier Legette. You have Terrace Marshall. You got 5 guys that can play in the NFL. They went out and they got Jonathan Brooks. Kid's very good running back. Took him in the second round. I think he was the 3rd running back taken overall. He was the one that played with Bijan Robinson. When he's coming out, people are like Bijan Robinson or Jonathan Brooks. He was drafted in the 2nd round. Kid's from Texas. Very good running back. I like what they did there. I think the only problem with this team is that owner, Tepper, is such a piece of garbage that I just feel like his culture in the locker room could screw it up. But I'll go over. I'll get on the Carolina Panthers bandwagon. I see a bounce back here for Bryce Young. They got a coach that believes in him.
He's got to bounce back from something to bounce back. He needs to bounce forward.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree with you. But I'm going the over here. I'm not happily going over, but I think they'll be better than what we expect.
Tua MVP. I'll run naked in the streets if that happens.
He's a Dolphins fan. And he's essentially
no. I know.
And he doesn't like Tua that much. He likes to troll.
Did Tua get paid?
I mean, they paid. Yes, they did. Yeah, they paid him
$3 million a year.
Didn't he let like them know at training camp? We grabbed the microphones like, oh, show me the money.
I hope the Cowboys set a trend and say like, yeah, we're gonna let you walk. We could with the. You're in like. I'd rather have a really crappy quarterback than a mid quarterback because you're just stuck if you have to pay him. And I'm not saying that's even Tua, but you're just stuck for 4 or 5 years. Like you're just stuck and it's almost like you have to pay him because like, well, what else is out there? You know what I mean? So
yeah. So I'm going over. Godfrey's going under. Brett's going over. Kyle's going under. We're split on the Carolina Panthers. Next week we're going to do the NFC and AFC North as we continue to preview leading up to the NFL season. We'll do the NFC and AFC East. Then we'll do our playoffs and our Super Bowl, and we're going to lead you right into week 1. Sideline to sideline. We'll be back every Thursday until Super Bowl Sunday. Any final comments, gentlemen?
No, just I don't know.
I use that word loosely with this group. You guys aren't gentlemen. You guys are heathens.
Yeah. Listen, if you're betting preseason football, 1-800-GAMBLER. That's all I have to say.
I don't understand that. I really don't get it. I did it before. I had a gambling problem. That's why I did it. And I used to think I was like ahead of the curve. I'm like, this team's definitely going to play all their starters, and just never was right. Ever. You're never right.
Yeah, a lot of fun talking football today. Stay tuned in an hour for the N1 podcast today. We'll be talking some basketball.
No, I'm not. I'm going to sleep for that. N1, that puts me to bed. I'm kidding. First of all, N1 podcast, let me just be clear. If you guys are basketball fans and you're not tuning into the N1 podcast, you're out of your damn mind because these dudes know their stuff. By the way, Brad, I was listening to your watch along on TikTok for the United States Olympic game because I was literally jumping my ex's car because her battery died. So I was listening to your watch along to keep up with the Olympic game. And man, if it wasn't for Steph Curry, Joel Embiid, LeBron James, and some end of the game magic from Kevin Durant, who started off very bad, the United States would be playing for a bronze medal tomorrow. In 2 days, I mean.
Yeah, going into the fourth, I was like, we're really about to lose to Serbia, huh? And then they flipped the switch on the fourth, thankfully, but that looked really bad for the first 3 quarters.
I know we're not a basketball show, and you'll talk about it tonight, but will you talk about tonight the fact that Jason Tatum's getting run on Team USA?
No,
and he's running Ant and Booker out there to do nothing.
I mean, Ant, I understand. Ant's been their second leading scorer, but Booker has been.
He didn't have it today. You didn't need to run Ant out there as much.
You can change that. You have the depth to be like, Ant does not have it today. Let's throw Jason Tatum in. His defense, I feel like that Jason Tatum would have gave them good minutes today. But I don't want to get it too far in this. It's a football show. The basketball show will be up at 9 o'clock or 8 p.m. in 45 minutes.
Joel Embiid 9-1 versus the Joker all time.
I mean, I'll say what you want. Joel Embiid dominated Nikola Jokic. Dominated.
He was good on offense, yes. The rebounding was a bit of an issue with him.
First of all, you're absolutely correct about the rebound. I'm not going to get too far in this. Defensively and offensively, he dominated Jokic tonight. Dominated. No way we can argue that.
Like I said,
rebounding
outside of the rebounding.
You're right.
You know what, Kyle? I hope Jokic likes the possibility of playing for bronze. How about that? Team USA all the way.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Sideline to Sideline.
I was gonna say one thing before we got here.
Nope, you're not allowed. I'm kidding.
First off, my Patriots finally scored tonight, so I don't have to sit there and look at a goose egg. But actually, we're going to be talking about the AFC South with Jory tomorrow on Integrity Sports Network on Passion and Precision, so you guys could tune in and get some more AFC South talk.
Damn right. Love that. Passion and Precision. I like the name of that, too. Your graphics are awesome.
I mean, a lot of that, I give Jory credit for that.
Hey, credit where credit's due. Graphics look awesome. Passion and Precision. Tune in to Integrity Sports Network tomorrow night. Listen to that. Tune in to N1 Podcast in 45 minutes. Listen to that. Appreciate all you guys coming in and hanging out with us today. I'm the NFL Genius, Gene Walzak. That's Taking It Deep with D. Godfrey. He's not guarding the 2. He's guarding the 3. And the Prince of Production, Kyle Edwards. And we are signing out.